Good evening to Conscious Gatherers. Tonight, there's just two of us here, Miss Royce and myself, Beverly Thompson. Terry Palma may join us after a bit. He couldn't be here at the beginning of this episode, but we're hoping that he can tune in after a bit. But welcome, everybody. This is our 27th episode of Conscious Gatherers. It's going pretty fast as all the episodes that we have put together, and we hope you find this exciting and enlightening and eye-opening, all of that, because we love to share what we have learned. And do keep in mind, everybody has their own path, and use discernment in everything that you hear, not only from us, but from other podcasts as well. So do keep that in mind as we talk today. But do feel our love for each and every one of you, and we certainly appreciate you tuning in to us tonight. Well, do you want to say hello?
Hello.
Okay. Well, tonight is October the 20th, 2020. So it's 10/20/2020. How about that? So it's been, as we know, a quite eye-opening year, hence the date of 2020, and even this date today. There's so much happening on this planet at this, what I call this now moment. All right. In previous episodes, we've talked about some of our meditations that we've had and information that has come through. And so that's where we're going to start out tonight. And this past week, the first words that I heard and wrote down, and that's what I want to name this episode. It is called The Golden Age is Forming. So I wanted to start out on a very positive note. And years ago, we used to talk about the Golden Age. We don't hear that language so much anymore. But I'm going to bring that forward because that's exactly what I heard. I did ask what the Golden Age is, and I want to share that with you all. And it is an age of balance, of beauty, of harmony, of knowing, of feeling whole, amazing ideas of new life, new forms coming together. So sounds pretty amazing, doesn't it? It's happening. It's actually happening even with all the what we term chaos going on in the world, because we're seeing, and Royce will explain some of this in just a bit, because we're seeing, if you want to call it light, dark, whatever whatever terminology you want, but she's going to give you another way to look at it all, and I think you all appreciate that. One thing I wanted to mention, because it did come out in the news, and that is the human evolution. I don't know, many of you may have noticed that on the news about our faces getting, shorter, another vein in our arms forming. I'm not sure what other features that they're finding that is happening. So
fewer teeth.
Fewer teeth, yes.
With smaller mouths.
There we go. Interesting, huh? So our bodies indeed are changing. Another thing I wanted to point out, and we have talked about this before, and that's the children. Wow, some of these kids and some of the stories I'm getting from these little ones, young as 4 years old, seeing portals and understanding what they're used for, and having ability to work with animals or plants or insects. It's just pretty amazing how much understanding they have. They just know it. And I'd love to see this, because these little children are coming in wide awake. And I believe all these children will stay awake. Keep in mind, many of us were awake when we were little, and then we closed it down because the programs were set in place, and it was not understood by the so-called adults. And even though our understandings as small children may have been greater than they are as adults, if that makes any sense to you. But I thought I'd share that too. Okay, a couple things that I did receive this past week is just a simple sky anomalies continue. Check out the skies. Things are happening. I believe there's a big shower tonight that many of you may see. And something else, I heard that an asteroid is going to come and hit the Earth, and it's about the size of a refrigerator. So I'm not sure where it's going to land, but I did hear that's a good possibility. And that's not to scare anybody, but I don't think it may shake a little bit, but I don't see it becoming anything that's going to be a detriment to the Earth. All right. The one other thing that I did hear this past week is what you encounter may amaze you. Stay calm, centered, and forthright. So it's like, okay, what does that mean? What you encounter may amaze you. Is this the understanding of ourselves, perhaps? Is that we're learning more about other world beings, perhaps? Other planetary beings, perhaps? Things that have happened on this earth that are being looked at or revealed, perhaps? I got a feeling it's all of that. Mm-hmm. So keep your eyes on the sky and stay calm, centered, and forthright. Means strong. Stay strong. We're all strong. So just keep that in mind. If you find yourself getting a little off center, take a walk outside. It's one of the easiest things to do. Meditate. If you can calm your mind, that's always good. If you can't, the walk outside's good, but just keep your focus, and you can focus on your heart, and that does help in meditation and use of music, that sort of thing. Keep your feet flat on the floor. If you keep you awake, unless you want to go to sleep. but anyway, just ways to calm yourself and know that the center is there.
Breathe.
Oh, thank you. Yes, breathe. Don't forget to breathe. How many times do we get uptight and we forget to breathe? What does that do? It gets us more intense. Mm-hmm. So remember to take those deep breaths. So thank you. All right. As I was researching Golden Age and sitting here with Royce, as I am right now, my attention was drawn to one of my writings, and it's the last writing in my first book, Mystery of the Universes, which is also called A Prophecy Fulfilled. But if you are looking for the books, again, the title is 3 books called Mystery of the Universes. In the 80th writing in this book, the last writing, it's titled The Greatest Story Ever Told. And I worked with Sananda, who one of his incarnations was one is known as Yeshua ben Joseph, or Jesus, as most of us know him by. And he had told me, and I'm going to share some of this book with you, but initially he said in the foreword of this writing, he said that this indeed is the greatest story ever told. No, it is not about my life as Yeshua ben Joseph, but about you, all of you who have incarnated at this juncture to bring about the true peace and understanding of your divinity. You shall move mountains. You shall travel not only on this planet, but to many other planets. You shall migrate to places unseen and unheard of. This and much more awaits you. Are you ready? Oh, I got goosebumps. I really did. So, excuse me. Wasn't expecting that. And I want to share a little bit more that is in this writing. Do you have anything that you want to say?
Oh, please, go ahead.
All right. In this writing, I'm saying it is us, but the last paragraph said, we are the light bearers. We work with all beings who have come to this planet of free choice to assist in the harmony of the worlds. This harmony of the worlds. So keep that in mind. And in fact, when I asked about the Golden Age, harmony was brought up. So you're going to hear that word often, and it's coming to the forefront now. All right, the writing goes, greetings in the light of the most radiant one. That's a capital O, all of us together. You who read of these words and feel the thoughts as they pour through you, know that you were chosen to be one of those beings who came to this planet to be of assistance. Know in your hearts and minds that this trip to this place and time has been on your schedule for eons. Know that you have been led here by your thoughts, integrating with other thoughts of this grand plan of ascension. Did you know that time does not really exist? And I'm just going to say, well, wait a minute. They were just saying it's been on our schedule for eons. It's a whole other look at the word eons. All right, let me continue. It is just a construct to bring you to this place of realization that all that you see, hear, taste, smell, and feel are a microcosm of what you really are. Your senses far exceed the 5 physical senses. You will understand when your other 12 senses come into your awareness. Yes, 12 is that magic number coupled with the 5 that will bring you to the realization that this universe is just a stop on the way to the manifestation of the many galaxies and other universes that too are constructs of the heart and mind. I can hear you saying, whoa, what are you talking about? Many universes we are making? Explain this. This is powerful stuff. Powerful is each and every one of you. Never doubt who and what you are. Resign to the fact that it is you who are the decision makers, the planners, and the designers. Clarity of your mind and body are the opportunities for you to grasp the meaning of such a statement. Clear out the debris that has accumulated through your lives on this planet, as well as your lives on many of the other planets in this galaxy and thousands of others. The writing does go on, and we can talk about that another day because it goes into creation layers, and that could be an episode in and of itself. But the biggest thing that I got out of this so far and wanted to share is that powerful is each and every one of you. Never doubt who and what you are. And that goes for everyone. So really keep that in your heart, please. All right. Royce has some interesting information that she's received and wants to share, and that goes right along with what we're talking about now.
When Bev was referring to the golden age that is unfolding as we speak, the way I see the golden age is it's a time when the world is recreated by the next level of Homo Sapiens. Now, the Peruvian shamans speak of this next level as Homo Illuminous, or the illuminated ones. There are other schools of spiritual thought who refer to them as Homo Spiritus, and it all boils down to meaning the same thing. So, therefore, this golden age would be a world where it would be re-envisioned by an evolved human who is using their minds to wisely direct themselves and their world instead of being manipulated by their own bodies or by the world around them. So this is just talking about the evolution of what we see the humans walking on this earth now, the evolution of those beings, illuminated, enlightened, and creating from that enlightenment.
Okay, thank you. That's pretty cool. Illuminated ones. We all are these powerful, illuminated ones. So please keep that in your hearts and believe it. And if you need to write it down, write it down. put a sticky note on your bathroom mirror or wherever you're going to see it. Because the more that you say this to yourself and truly realize it, the more enlightened you will be. And how can we think any differently? And it's like, oh, that's blasphemous. That's against God. No, it's God that is within us. The more that we understand this, the more we take it in, that we're feeling that God within us. That makes sense to us. So, we aren't, again, I was going to say, I'm not going to go there. So just understand why we're here. And I mentioned in this writing, it says something that you were chosen. Remember, we all chose to be here at this time, at this juncture, and how important this juncture is. And as we can see in the 2020, how much is coming to light and how much more information is coming forth. Some want to squash it, other ones said, bring it on. And and many people said, bring it on, and they're like, what was I thinking? However, it has widened our eyes, and it when we widen ourselves and we learn more about ourselves, we start understanding ourselves. We start hearing what our true self is trying to tell us. You can call it the higher self, the source self, whatever. It's all us. More of that is coming forth within even our bodies, within our cells. It's already there, but it's like being unveiled, if that makes sense to you all. So remember that, and of course, take care of our bodies. That's the whole thing too. But if something happens to you, there's a reason for it, and it's to understand and not be the victim. And we're very good at being victims, but it's like, what does that really, what's that do for us? So it's like, it's like, I'm not going to let this stop me. And also, it makes you more active in your life. Does that make sense? You start taking the so-called bull by the horns. All these proactive. Oh, thank you. All right. And to really understand what we're doing. And if you want to do something, go ahead and do it. Again, as long as you don't tread on anybody else's turf, and you do it with respect of each one's path.
Looking around us all right now in this 2020, we see so many things going on, and it's very easy to point fingers at this and that and to say, oh, that's bad, and oh, I can't stand this, and instead of seeing it as something to learn from. We learn from everything every day, and the understanding of something makes the whole experience more full. In the closing of an introduction to a book that I wrote called Walking into the Eye of God, it says, my wish for you is that you find your key to that which provides sustenance for your need, whether it be for enlightenment or for the understanding of its shadow, which is indeed enlightenment itself. So when we can look at those things which look like the shadows, which look like the darkness, and we're willing to see it for what it really is, something for us to learn from, something that fulfills understanding within us, then that's the key to not being overwhelmed. It's the key to being proactive in your life.
Perfect. Thank you. Yeah, that was really strong in what it had to say, but it's also, you can feel that inside. It is all enlightenment. One of the other things that I did get the other day that follows right along with it, and I just looking at it now, is this is the if you want to call it the the golden age has started, And a lot of people are saying, yeah, now? Sure doesn't look like it. However, first is the release. And that's the release of the old programs, all of these things that we have bought into. Of course, we set it up because we want to learn more about ourselves. We want to experience what this, if you want to call it 3D or whatever, lower world, other terminology. I don't even like to use lower world because when you, through these experiences of this duality, has brought us all, creation, to a better understanding of what it means to be a creator. So it's pretty phenomenal. It's like it catapults us. And it's just what you said, and let me have you repeat that.
Enlightenment for the understanding of its shadow, which is indeed enlightenment itself.
There you go. Thank you. Yeah, I think that's excellent. And if anybody, I'll put that in the notes and put that on the out on our YouTube page because I think that's very, very important. All right, going talking about first. This is what's going on now, or what has gone on the past few years. The first is the release. The reveal is happening now. Then a calmness will be felt.
Yeah, and I think an easy way to visualize that is to look at it as a pendulum swing. You can look at the extremes, like we can call them light and dark. Like when the pendulum's at light, then it swings over to what we would call dark. When the pendulum is in that fullest extent of its swing outward, it's actually at the very beginning of the swing back. And so the golden age has begun. It's like it may look like it's all darkness, but it's at the beginning of that swing back.
Perfect. We've been told, many of us have been told, that we will not go back into that deep darkness, that the light has won. And again, that's what we're seeing, this reveal that's happening now. And it won't be in our face all at once, but it's parts of it now are showing. And a lot of us are saying, whoa, what in the heck is going on? Did we really expect to be in this position, in this world, with what's going on here, and especially United States? It's like, wait a minute. And we're going to be, feeling free to feel free, if that makes sense. Feel free to feel free, or free to feel free. And last week we had talked about self-expression and speaking up and sharing, and people are doing it. And some people said, "No, you're trotting on my turf." We do have to be respectful of each one's turf, and everybody has their own thing that they want to experience, and so we can look at that for our own, I call it observe, but it's what's in us. And so it's like, whoa, if this bugs me internally, why does it bug me? Mm-hmm. And so you end up getting to that calm place and say, wait a minute, this is not me, but it is me because it bothers me. And then you figure out what is in me that is triggering this. And so we start looking a little deeper into ourselves. And so that is what we're calling the release. So we're releasing this stuff. And then once that's done, it's like all this excess baggage that we've carried around. But again, that's part of the, if you want to call it the great experiment that I've called numerous times, and it's living in that duality. but it's letting go of all that baggage that we carried around because we set these programs up, and now we're saying, well, okay, we're done. And now things are happening, so the reveal is going on right now. All right. And we're missing Terry. He's really good at summing stuff up. But it's just the two of us here. So is anybody on the line that has any questions?
You know, you were talking about, I can't remember exactly what it was you were saying, but what came to my mind was how you and I learn from each other so much, because we may be looking at things totally differently, but when we voice our own opinions freely, then we learn, and we turn on the light switch for both of us.
Yep.
It deepens the understanding of whatever it is that we're talking about, and it expands who we are and how we look at the world.
It does. And what I've noticed, where I may have a few years ago taken offense of what somebody told me, and I'm like, well, wait a minute, and now it's like, oh, thank you for pointing that out. And I give many of my friends permission to do so. Now, if you don't give permission, that's one thing. And then nobody, again, has a right to step on your turf. But if you give them that, and we're free to express ourselves wholly, no matter what it is. Sometimes, it gets to be a little too much information. I won't go there, but I have fun doing it. But it's giving permission and not taking offense, because again, if you're taking offense to something, what is in you that's causing that? And a lot of times I'll hear something, and sometimes I'll just shrug my shoulders. But I'll think about it. It's like, okay, it's something for me to look at. And I will. And I allow, I've used that word so many times, allow my good friends, such as Royce here, to speak up if there's an issue or point something out, and which did happen today. It's like, oh, yeah. So, but it's okay, because it's like, geez, you know what you create and what you keep in the forefront of your mind, you're going to keep creating. And it's like, do you really want to do that? No. So it's fun. To me, it's fun to learn that. At first, it's like, whoa, and then it's like, oh, okay. And so you go on from that. To me, this is why I say to myself, it's okay. So I don't want to get stuck in that victimhood. I do not want to resent the person that's trying to impose themselves on me. If they are trying to impose themselves on me, then I feel it's their issue, not mine. And then when you know it's their issue, it makes it easier. Now, you might get something out of it, whatever they have to say, but to impose their thoughts on you, not necessarily, and unless it's to open you up. Again, you take in what you want, and you leave the rest go.
And it gives you the opportunity to say, yes, I want to hear this, or no, I don't.
That's right.
We have a choice either way. We have a choice to express ourselves. We have a choice to hear or not. We have a choice to expand or not. Mm-hmm. We have a choice to be enlightened or not. Everybody is walking their own path.
Yeah.
Everybody learns from whatever it is that they're doing, and even if it looks like you're standing still, you're still learning. So there's no way to fall on the short end with this.
There you are. That's why we're all here on this earth at this time. One thing that I would bring up because of what you just said, and that is, if I have something to say to somebody, I do ask their permission. And sometimes I get no. And that's okay, because they don't really want to hear it, and that's okay. And so I appreciate that, and they appreciate me asking too. So I may tell them a little bit what it's about, and then they'll say no. And it's because they don't want to hear it, because they don't want to, because you start, feeling it and all that, and if it doesn't feel good, then, they don't want to, be a part of it. Feel good to them, okay? So that's one thing I've learned, and I did learn it I don't know, call it the hard way, but, it's, things that I've done, because I wanted to help everybody, and I would start looking inside of them, and then I thought, whoa, I have no right to look into another without their permission. And so now I ask permission, because I can see inside of a lot of people. I can hear them. And it's like, no, I don't have a right. Now I'll back off, because I really don't want to get into their space, so to speak. All right. Any other comments, Royce?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Well, we covered quite a bit. And we're missing Terry tonight again, but I do want to let you all know if you have want to contact us with any questions for any of us. That's Terry, Royce, or myself. Again, my name is Bev Thompson, and that phone number is 864-999-3008. You can also leave comments on our YouTube page, Conscious Gatherers, and so we do invite you all to make any comments, whatever it may be, because it helps us understand what we want to talk about, because we want to know what you want to share or what your thoughts are. In addition, I do have a subscriber list, and people can respond to that are on the subscriber list. If you're not, that's okay too. But our YouTube page is getting a little more popular now, and spread the word if you'd like, and because we love to share. You can also subscribe on our YouTube page, and you hit the subscribe button, and then when a new podcast is uploaded, and then you'll get notification or email, but you have to hit the bell. So do hit the bell too. So subscribe and then the bell. So we'd appreciate you all joining us tonight, and we look forward to seeing you, or I'm going to say seeing you again, but it's really not seeing you, being with you again. Our next episode is November 3rd. That's voting day. But right now we're going to go ahead and have our podcast, and it's going to be probably a pretty eventful day, and we know most of you listen to the podcast afterwards. So it's going to be interesting to feel the energy that day. So we'll see what comes up. But thank you all. We appreciate your being here with us tonight.
And remember to speak freely.
Yes, speak freely. And be honest with yourself.
Yes.
Totally honest. So, yeah. And sometimes we'll find out how not honest we are with ourselves. I've caught myself numerous times.
Yeah.
So it's like, no, what am I doing that for? And it's okay. It's all okay. Otherwise, we're not going to understand ourselves. Mm-hmm. So anyway, we can keep going on this. Thank you all, and good night.
Good night.